Hi, welcome back to week 2 of Quaranteaching. This is Maria.
I'm Tim. Hi.
And this week we have a special guest with us. We are going to be chatting with Joe Dombrowski, or you may know him as Mr. D.
What up, what up?
Just going to chat with him a little bit about remote teaching, remote learning, being quarantined at home, and all that.
Do you guys want to know something crazy? I actually looked at my time hop, popped up on my Instagram today, and it was a post from 2016 where I hosted a PD for my school titled, "Let's Get Into Distance Learning."
Oh,
Isn't that eerie?
wow. It sounds like you've had like some connections with classrooms, doing some read-alouds. Do you have any light you want to shed or any funny stories, positive moments?
My favorite thing that ever happened, I was reading to a class, and I told them I like dogs. And then immediately they all unmuted themselves without being told that they were allowed to. And they were like, "Here comes my dog. This is my dog." And they were just like clapping. And the next thing you know, it was just screens full of dogs all up in there. I was like, honestly, this is amazing. And I'm so glad that I can just like shut my laptop and walk away from this. Because if you think about it too, right? Like when things would go bad in the classroom, you cannot get away. You have to, boom, like think about it right now. But the teachers now, the blessing in disguise is you can just be like, we're going to try this again tomorrow. End all, get your game plan together, and then come back. We tell our students all the time, like, it's okay to fail. That's what makes you better. And this is the time to believe that in yourself. Like you might have an idea that you want to do and it doesn't go well, but like keep trying to think about what it's going to look like, because if you just get in front of your computer and teach like you used to, that's not going to work. But then I actually said that online and I got a lot of feedback for it, because people were like, I have a family of 6 and my husband's taken over my office and blah blah blah. And I was like, I get it, trust, I get it, like I get it. But the thing is, if you take these bigger ideas that you see online or on TV or whatever it is, and you whittle it down to the smallest molecule of what you're capable of doing, that's doing better than you were before. And then you'll be comfortable there, and then you can take another bit and add, and another bit and add, and it comes in time. We think back to like right after student teaching when we all had our first classrooms and we realized we didn't know anything. Like school can't prepare you to be a teacher, right? And I feel so bad for those kids who were in my first year because I had no idea what I was doing. Every teacher in the country is a first-year teacher right now, and it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So just like being okay with that, being okay with failure, being okay with trying new things, and being okay with just starting a little bit, I think that is my biggest advice. A reading from the book of D.
But I think the whole remote learning is going to actually show teachers that they can do what you're saying, is taking it down and downsizing it and not having to do the big grandiose, big show, when all you really have to do is make a connection with your kids and make sure that they believe like what you're saying and listen to you.
I saw a few teachers online who were taking it to the smallest molecule just like that. And a lot of these teachers are the teachers who used to do the dog and pony show where like my classroom is now a frickin' jungle and blah, blah, blah. But those teachers, right, are in the biggest struggle bus because they feel like they have to. And I was talking to one and she's like, I let it all go. And I realized that like, that's not where we are. And she set up coffee chats with her students where their parents could like make times to just chat. For 15 minutes, she sat there with her cup of coffee and they just, and she invested time in the relationship aspect of education, which is arguably, not so arguably, the most important piece. And she dwindled it down to that's what's important and that's what these kids need. And they're not going to do any of this academic hoopla if they don't trust me in this new digital space. So how do I do that? So she just made 15-minute coffee chats throughout the week.
Being okay with being bad at something. I'm very good at being bad at things. But being okay with like, not having to be so controlling of everything. If somebody that I work with is going to make a lesson for me, which again, they're used to making my lessons for me, but if they're going to make a lesson that I'm going to post, it's okay that they're doing it, or it's okay if they're reading to my student, because I'm not going to go and read the same thing because I have to do it. I'm okay with playing a video of them reading it, or, I'm okay with taking a lesson that I saw somebody else do and using it. I think it can take the competition away from teaching and really put more of a focus on just like working together and doing things together.
You know what? We're like right here, right now. It's crazy.
Which is scary for you.
Whenever I see someone doing something exceptional in the field of education, no matter how big or how small, I always like to use my large platform as a way to build up teaching, right? And I saw this teacher who goes in full character for the read alouds that he does. He's got the voices, the action, and then he reached out to the authors and he's reading these stories to his kids with permission online, and it's absolutely amazing. So I threw it out on my pages and I was like, this guy's doing a great job. Good job to you. And I was shocked at how many teachers took that as somehow something to be taken personally on them. I stopped and I started to think, and I'm like, people are not even realizing that this guy is putting it out there in public for you to use. He did all the work. This is the time to share. It's like look out at what all these other people are doing and just be like, can I use it? What's it hurt to ask? You know what I mean? Like, think about, just like you said, like, I'm not gonna reread the same thing if you're doing it too. Like, but you're Tim, like, you're doing something that your teammates probably can't or won't do, that they can feed off of what you're doing, right? So it's like, I don't understand why people are still in this comparison game when the game is really like, can I beg, borrow, and steal a little bit because you can offer me, and then how am I contributing back? Like, it's right now is a time more than ever to just like come together as teachers globally and share and accept and move on.
I almost think it's fair to say, almost, and not in every situation, but a lot of kids, like what they learned academically during these 2 months could possibly like hold stronger than learning it in another situation. I think like their investment is different. They're invested in a different way.
Right.
So have you thought, because you do these, professional development stuff along with everything else that you're involved in, has this maybe brought any new ideas to you as far as different things you would share?
But I think the key message now is just to like be fine with the fact that this past school year we treaded water and we made it happen, and to move forward in a new mindset of like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is okay and it's going. So it's a lot of me sharing my own fails in comedic ways to bring happiness to realize the main point. So I think I'm going to focus more on like that and less on the actual like PD.
I think as a teachers, I think I think that's great. I mean, I think a lot of teachers, and myself included, would like to hear that stuff. Mm-hmm. Something else that we've tried to do is keep some things normal. Like during our hangouts, we both have morning meetings. So we are pretty much treating it as a 45-minute morning meeting. What'd you do this weekend? What are you doing? Maybe bring a joke or tell some stories. You've said before that you have jumped in on Zooms. Yes. Have you seen, or what have you seen, anything that's been normal?
I had one teacher, she taught second grade, and I hopped in and did a read aloud for her class, and she did a really good job of routines and expectations. And just like the first day of school, elementary, first 2 weeks, it's like non-stop. Don't get it right, do it again. Don't get it right, do it again. She like laid it down hard. But when I was the guest reader in her class, I swear it was like the most well-oiled machine. And that comes right back to what you're saying, like routines and expectations. Like, kids thrive off of routines. They always have. Why is it any different now? It's not. Lay down the law.
Well, Joe, it was so nice to meet you and kind of get your perspective on education in general and as it's going right now. And
yeah, thank you. We really appreciate you jumping on, and it was great to virtually meet you, and hopefully, sometime down the road we'll be able to shake hands or elbow bump.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Keep it real. Have fun in those last couple of days of school you got coming up.
Thank you. And thank you to all the viewers. If you want to catch us next time, we will have another special guest. So tune in to see who it is.
Bye.
See ya.
Like, was it Oscar worthy, Kim? Because honestly, I was really feeling the emotion in those.
That was perfect.